Welcome back to Racket. This is episode 2, where we will be discussing the Eastern Conference in totality based on after the championship to now what has happened. I'm Jordan.
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Preston.
And we're about to do this. So here we go. This is our first official episode, so if it's not very good, it is what it is. Thanks for listening though. We're going to dive into this. First team would be the 76ers. They got rid of Doc Rivers and hired Nick Nurse. They re-signed Montrezl Harrell. They have signed Patrick Beverley, Mo Bamba, and B-Ball Paul Reed. Do you have any takes on that?
B-Ball Paul.
B-Ball Paul.
Never knew that was a name.
That's his nickname.
Didn't know that was a nickname.
That's his nickname.
Crazy nickname.
It's
never
a
heard of
good
him
nickname.
until.
B-Ball Paul. I mean, it flows right off the tongue. Everything's nice.
But why does Paul Reed get that name? Out of all the Pauls there's been.
Why is it not Paul Pierce, bro?
Why is it not Paul George?
B-Ball.
Why is it not?
Paul, I didn't make the nickname, guys.
Chris
Anyways.
Paul. I don't know why.
So they gave Doc Rivers the boot, right?
Correct.
Awesome.
And
Doc Rivers. How do you feel about Doc Rivers as a coach?
you gotta respect him. He's done a lot for the game. You gotta respect Doc Rivers. But I think in the now of how the league has changed, I think Nick Nurse is a better fit for the Philly organization over Doc Rivers.
I think that people tend to overinflate what Doc Rivers has done, and they kind of just give him too many flowers for the player he was, and then for that one championship, and so his resume is just based off a very small sample size of winning. His record in 3-1 games, he's blew 3 or 4 3-1 series.
A lot.
Yeah, dude is definitely not top tier NBA coach.
I think, okay.
He just has a good history that has got him a lot of jobs over the years.
I think he's a good coach in the regular season, but once playoffs comes around, it's
he folds, bro.
Yep, the pressure, I guess. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't think if I'm not mistaken, I think he's not looking for a new coaching position right now. I don't know if he's retiring, but he wants to spend time with his family and stuff. So could be a while before we see Doc Rivers, if we ever see Doc Rivers again as another head coach.
I know ESPN's trying to get back at him because he used to be a broadcaster for them back in the 90s. And so they're hollering about him.
After they gave half of their staff the boot.
For real, they got rid of everybody. So,
PN.
I mean, having Doc Rivers back on the staff wouldn't hurt. He's obviously a big name.
And he knows the game.
Yeah.
Even though his record and stuff might not be the greatest, but I mean he knows the game. That's why you gotta respect him.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Nick Nurse, on the other hand, I think Nick Nurse is a very good coach, but he just left the Raptors, who have one good player. Well, calm down. One all-star player, and then he just went to the 76ers, who are about to have possibly just Joel Embiid, who, speaking of Joel Embiid, there was an interview he did, and he was like, I want to win a championship, and they asked him will you do it in Philly, and he was basically I don't know where it's going to be at, but I want to win a championship. So all the Philadelphia fans are going crazy, because Joel Embiid, their star player, might leave, but it's I think we fall in love with players, Jordan Poole, for example, and it's just at the end of the day, it is a business, and it's also their careers. So if Joel Embiid wants to go win with, I don't know, Miami, sure. If Joel Embiid wants to go win with Miami, I mean, you can't really blame him. I mean, the whole point of the game, the end goal of the NBA is to win a championship, right? I mean, money obviously is great, but the trophy is the thing you want. So if he wants to leave, I don't think you can get mad at him for doing that.
In some cases, it's not even the fit for him anymore. You know, the league changes, and that's not the same Philly team he got drafted to. Everything changed, and you got people like Tyrese Maxey who are getting better and better as the seasons get on.
Yeah.
And could be a potential All-Star next year, maybe. So
I thought he could have been one this year if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, he has that caliber, I feel like. And I feel like if you're Philly, you have that team, right? And you have your window right now. And you kind of just, you don't want to lose Joel if that's the case. Because if you lose Joel, then this whole trust the process thing didn't work out at all.
The process was, I mean, you trusted it, but it never got you anywhere.
Like the closest you got was what?
Still processing.
Game 7 of
semifinals.
The Kawhi bounce.
Yeah.
Semifinals, yeah.
And
the
that
lucky shots.
that was just a fold on Ben
All
Simmons, and they got rid of him a couple years back. But I don't know. I feel like Nick Nurse is a different coach that Joe Embiid has not seen so far. He's had Brett Brown and Doc Rivers, so
Two older coaches in the game.
and that have like a very older style of play. And Nick Nurse is a younger guy. He's only been the head coach since like 2019 was his first year, I think. So he's only been coaching for 3-4 seasons. So I feel like he definitely is like a breath of fresh air for him. But still, there's a frustrations on Joel's part because you just got bounced in the playoffs pretty rough for the 4th season in a row.
After winning MVP, and he won the scoring title this year, didn't he?
I'm
not
not
sure.
100% sure who won the
That's
scoring
why he
titles.
I think
It
he
wouldn't
might have.
surprise me.
Yeah,
But
and I think, I mean, James Harden. The whole thing about James Harden is he wants to be out, and it's kind of hard to keep him there. But if you can't keep him there, it's probably your best move going forward because you're not going to get a lot out of James Harden because he's older. No one's going to respect the value he has anymore just because he's 33. I think he doesn't have that same. He can't in the trade market. You're not getting anything great back for James Harden. So the best bet is to try and keep him. But number one is also keep Joel happy, and I feel like Nick Nurse does that a little bit better than Doc Rivers does for sure.
Speaking of James Harden, if I'm not mistaken, it was like James Harden was like, if Doc Rivers isn't there, I'm gone. But now Doc Rivers isn't there, and he's still trying to leave.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Through the Wire. That's probably my favorite podcast to listen to. But I heard on there that James Harden is like his own agent. Like he doesn't have an agent. He does all of his deals himself,
Whoa.
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Probably why he has that fat suit on deck. But yeah. So speaking of also of James Harden, so I know this is the Eastern Conference episode, but Damian Lillard and James Harden are basically doing the same thing. So James Harden is wanting to go to one team, which is the Clippers, and Damian Lillard wants to go to one team, which is the Heat. And I'm all for player empowerment, but I think that is stupid. I think that's messed up for not only them, but also just the organization in general. Because we'll just do the Damian Lillard one, for example. So Damian Lillard wants to go to the Heat, right? But the only person that they can give back is Tyler Hero. Nobody wants Tyler Hero. Like, this is not a knock on Tyler Hero. He averages like 20, 25, something like that. And he's a scorer for sure. But the Portland Trailblazers have so many guards, young guards already, that it's just like, why is that like an option? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, so on the James Harden thing, it's like, he wants to go to the Clippers. You're not going to get anything back for James Harden, like you said. Like that, I mean, that just puts
Like, what's LA giving up for James Harden?
right. That's the team is just suffering. But if they don't do what James Harden wants them to do, it's like now that makes them look bad, and it just doesn't go together. It just won't go together. There's always going to be a side that's right and wrong depending on who you are as a person. But I mean, I can understand it from both perspectives, I guess. I mean, if James Harden wants to go play in LA, James Harden wants to go play in LA. But if you're not getting anything back, why would I give you to LA for nothing?
Right.
And so
It'll work out, I feel like, at the beginning of the season because either James is going to sit and Philly's not going to pay him. I did it a few years back with Ben Simmons where he sat for, half a season, didn't get a single paycheck from him.
yeah.
And he'll get frustrated and it'll just drag his worth down, not playing and being in games, and they'll just trade him for dirt cheap. But I I feel like they made some pretty solid moves signing Pat Beverly. He's just a dog on defense. He's like a loud locker room guy, and that's one thing that Philly's not had this whole time. They never, since they lost Jimmy Butler, they haven't had the kind of guy in the locker room that holds people accountable. And I feel like Pat Beverly is definitely that kind of dude. And then I feel like Mo Bamba is just another big body you can put behind Joel Embiid, give him a little bit more rest because he does have that injury proneness to him. And so Mo Bamba is just another big body you could throw in there just so he can get, instead of averaging, 42 minutes a game, let him average 38 minutes a game so he can be more effective while he is playing. And then, what was his nickname?
B-Ball Paul.
B-Ball Paul.
Such
I think it's a good nickname.
it's a dope nickname, but I just the wrong Paul.
Wrong Paul.
I don't think it is the wrong Paul though, because
The wrong.
Paul George is PG-13. Paul Pierce is the truth. I mean, the truth is better than B-Ball Paul. What other Pauls are there? Paul.
I feel like
Paul,
B-Ball
Paul
Paul.
Reason.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul has CP3, and
CP0 Reeves.
Piss Bald, and whatever other ones you can think of off the top of your head. State Farm, Cliff Ball.
Pat left Chicago, right?
Yeah, he left Chicago.
And he wanted to play in Chicago because I'm pretty sure that's where he's from.
That's where he's
Yeah,
from.
he's from Chicago, but
And they haven't replaced him at all because he was off the bench. But they
Chicago-
re-signed Ayo Dosunmu
yeah, they re-signed Io,
and signed.
and
To a
they
Kobe
re-signed
White.
Kobe White to
On
an
a good
extension
deal.
on a pretty good deal.
Pretty good.
Like, he's
deal.
not expensive at all, and
Is Kobe their starter?
I feel like he's going to be either him
Yeah.
or Io.
Or I mean, you
'Cause
could
who
probably
started
run
last
Caruso at point guard
Oh,
too.
I forgot.
Oh,
I
yeah,
forgot they had
yeah.
Alex Caruso.
You're right.
I forgot they had Alex Caruso. I knew there was somebody.
I feel like, so next up, let's just get into it. The Bulls did sign Torrey Craig as a free agent. They re-signed
Great
Io,
pickup.
they re-signed Kobe, and they re-signed Vucevic to all extensions. So I feel like in terms of the team they had last year, it was obviously not a bad team, not a good team at all.
Just
They were,
mediocre.
yeah, they were just right in the middle play-in tournament line all season long. And they actually got a play-in win against Toronto, and it was a really fire game. I stayed up late watching it, but that's the thing with Chicago. They haven't made any moves that made them better. All the moves they've made have kept them where they were.
What
Yeah.
move do you think Chicago could make to make them better?
To make them better, I feel like the only thing that can make them better is if Lonzo wasn't hurt. And if Lonzo wasn't hurt, they'd been way better off. And if they don't do good this season with what they got, then it sucks as a Bulls fan to say this, but they got to blow it up again. But they're asking like ridiculous amounts for Zach LaVine. Like
I
New
don't
York
know.
just tried to hit up Chicago the other day for a trade, and the Knicks were like, Chicago's asking for way too much.
No, Zach LaVine's good. I don't know
Damn good.
with
Yeah.
I don't know if he's worth all that anymore.
I think it just depends on.
just the injuries and stuff. Like I said, that's no knock to Zach LaVine, but if I'm New York, 'cause as much as I hated seeing them bounce Cleveland out in the first round, New York was fun to watch. I like
Yeah.
watching New York
If I'm
I
basketball.
feel like if New York could,
I like watching New York basketball.
if I'm a Bulls fan, I want RJ back.
I
if
would
I'm-
give
yes.
RJ for Zach LaVine. If I'm
And
the
that's
Knicks.
the only person I'd like from New York back in return. I wouldn't want anyone else from New York
If
back.
you could just do RJ and Zach LaVine swap, I think it's good for both teams.
I really
The
think
Bulls
it
get a
is.
young
They
player.
get younger.
Zach
and
LaVine.
DeMar's
is-
still got a few more years on his contract, and he can. DeMar did this thing this past offseason. If he said if you're younger than 24 years old, you had mandatory workouts with DeMar DeRozan over the summer. He's held every
Comp 10.
everybody to that, and he's flew everyone out to LA to do workouts that are younger than 24. Like, I feel like Pat Williams is going to take a leap this year. He's like a young Kawhi Leonard. I feel like dude's goated. You like
pretty good.
Kawhi 2013 is like Pat Williams now, like on the verge of being good.
Torrey Craig was a really good pickup. I personally wanted Torrey Craig on the Warriors. Didn't happen. Actually, like everybody wanted on the Warriors. Didn't happen. We got
Tory Craig is a
Corey
bucket.
Joseph.
He really is.
Tory Craig.
And he's
Torrey Craig is a
really
bucket.
good
He
at
is.
defense.
He is a bucket.
It just doesn't give the Bulls more than maybe like 2 or 3 more wins for the season. So I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
just-
they're just
Where was Tory Craig at?
The Suns.
On the
Suns.
Suns.
He was on the Suns.
And they had a shit bench in the postseason last year, but he was like one of the kind of sparks on that team for real.
Yeah. Moving on, we're going to talk about the Bucks. The Bucks have re-signed Jay Crowder, AJ Green, Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton, and then they signed Andre Jackson Jr., Robin Lopez, and Malik Beasley.
I'm mad they
Hold
took.
up.
They took.
Who's the guy
they
from the
took-
Bucks that left and went to the Bulls? Last name Carter?
Javante Carter.
Javante Carter. I feel like that's
Javon Carter. I think it's
Javon.
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 I was
I
thinking
feel
I
like
was
that's-
combining Javante Green.
That's kind of an L at the guard
No.
position, but back up, but
Oh.
back to what the Bucks did.
Carter's solid.
Yeah,
He had a couple of
I
really
feel
good
like-
games.
The Bucks losing him kind of sucks. And he's a pretty good signing for the Bulls. But back to what the Bucks did. You said they did what?
They took my Robin Lopez from my Cleveland Cavaliers.
I think it's really cool though. I'm pretty sure Brooke, that was like his thing. It was like, if you don't get Robin Lopez, I'm gone. Or you don't get my brother, I'm gone. Which is, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool, But I like seeing Robin. When I found out we got Robin on the Cavs, I was kind of happy. I was kind of happy when we went and seen him play in Memphis.
He had a lot of PT, bro.
He did. He got a lot more
Dude was in
PT
there
than
a
I
lot.
went in there expecting.
For real.
Like,
Especially having like a big team that Cleveland has.
yes.
The fact that he was getting rotational minutes while having to play around Jared Allen and Evan Mobley was kind of wild. But I feel like him being in Milwaukee, he might get a few more touches. And if not, he'll just be the kind of guy that comes in and gives his brother a break.
No, for real. Jay Crowder is a good pickup or good re-sign. My fault.
Yeah.
Chris
Good
Middleton. Chris Middleton thought he was gonna leave. Man, I thought
That
he was
deal
gonna walk.
was-
Thought he was gonna walk.
I don't
I thought
think
it
there's
was
any
too-
way Chris Middleton is Chris Middleton if he's not on the Bucks.
That's
Like,
exactly
Just
what
kind of
I-
like Klay Thompson, which I love Klay Thompson, but if he's not on the Warriors, he's not the Klay Thompson everybody knows, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Chris Middleton is a perfect player beside Giannis, and I think taking him out of that, I'm not saying he's not going to be good. I'm just saying he's not going to be like the Chris Middleton that we know as a collective.
kind of has to rework his whole game to become
But
a different player.
I would love to see Chris Middleton on a young team like the Kings or the Rockets or something, to be a vet. I
Kings are
mean,
gonna be so
he's
good.
like, imagine putting him on that Rockets team and being
They got Dylan
vet.
Brooks.
come on, dude, that mouse right there is better than Dylan Brooks does.
Dylan Brooks gets a lot of hate.
Dylan Brooks
His
does a lot
antics
of
are
hate.
horrible, but he is a good defender. Shooting,
Yeah, but you
he
can't
can
just
improve.
live your whole career off being a good defender. that
Tony
talks
Allen
shit.
did.
Tony Allen.
He's not on Tony Allen's level.
We're not saying he is, but you said
No,
you can't make a whole career off defense. Tony Allen did that.
Yeah, but Tony Allen was great at defense. You can't just be like being pretty good at defense.
I mean,
If you're gonna be like, you can be Marcus Smart good at defense and make a career out of that. But
They get traded to the Grizzlies after he won Defensive Player of the Year.
he was the only player on Boston that like absolutely loved Boston. It's crazy.
He even dyed his hair green.
for
It
real.
was for his mom.
All right.
Oh.
So who else did they
I didn't
sign?
know that. That was for Boston.
Malik Beasley. I feel like Malik
Malik
Beasley
Beasley.
is a really solid pickup. I think he had the most threes off the bench last year in the NBA. 'Cause I saw that on my StatMuse app one
Wouldn't
time.
surprise me. Malik Beasley's really good.
It's just LA. They really didn't have identity going into the playoffs. They just knew that they were Jalen good, but they didn't know like how to use everybody they had. And I feel like Malik Beasley was kind of wasted there. Same thing with Mo Bamba. So I'm glad both of them guys left and went to teams where they can get more touches.
I think Malik Beasley is going to be if he can gel with them and fit really good, he could. I mean, call me crazy, but if Malik Beasley's sixth man, he could possibly be in the sixth man of the year running, depending on how much play he gets, how well he works with that team. Malik Beasley can score, man.
Yeah, he's a
Malik
dude to
Beasley
bucket.
can score.
He's a bucket.
Um,
A bucket.
as far as the Bucks, I think that's it. We're going to the Cavs. The Cavs expert is to my left.
Yes.
Let's see what they do.
We traded for Max Strus. Forgot who we traded for.
I think it was just picks.
Was
I think
it-
it was
I
two
think
second
it-
round picks.
because Max Strus was a bucket in the
I'm pretty-
finals. He was a bucket.
In the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
In the
Still.
finals,
But like
They didn't make
something like that
he didn't. Make it.
is good for us. I mean, shooting. This is what the Cavs
That's what you
really
needed.
need. It's what
Yeah.
we needed.
You don't gotta rely on
Darius Garland.
what's his face,
Who?
the small forward. Isaac Okoro.
Okoro?
Yeah.
Okoro,
He can just play defense.
Okoro can get a bucket when he needs to.
I just feel like this isn't solving many things for the Cavs though.
But because we got it all figured out, it's just we're just young.
I
I just feel like their roster is very weird. They're very guard heavy and very center heavy, but they're not very like forwards. They don't have anyone.
I mean, but we have a bunch of forwards that can run.
They don't have a lot of
everything.
wing people. I mean, they have
like
centers that can run forward spots, but like they don't have true like 3-and-D type guys besides Okoro.
Karis LeVert, because he can. I mean, he's tall, but he can ball handle. He can play those positions. We just got Imani Bates, who was a dog in the summer league, won the summer league championship, went 6-0, balled out against the Rockets in the championship, had a good ass game. Wish they gave Isaiah a contract. I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah.
But Isaiah hooped. And
he definitely deserved to be the best player on their team.
It would be dope to see him and Evan together. Sam Merrill, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He was also a bucket.
11 out of 13 shots behind the arc.
He was a bucket.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Imani
the
Bates.
Cavs, they got a little bit better, but I don't think it solves the problems they had against New York.
I just believe it was just youth. We had 3 people that been in the playoffs out of the whole roster. I believe it's just youth. Because, in my opinion, like I said, I'm not going to say big New York fan, but I like watching New York basketball. Like, if the Knicks played the Warriors, and again, I just so happen to catch it, I'll watch the game. Because New York's fun to watch, in my opinion.
Even if they're bad, they're fun.
Exactly. But when we got Imani Bates, if he hoops like this in season, now I don't think he'll win Rookie of the Year, but I think you can put him in the conversation.
That's just the thing. He's not getting those touches. He's gonna be a 2-way player. You know, if you have Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell and Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, Jared Allen, like you have a solid like 7 players deep on your team. He's probably like the 9th guy up. You know, as a rookie for sure.
That's like 18 minutes a game, maybe.
So maybe if he gets the touches, but I feel like he's going to be one of those guys that is good, but they're going to make him grind it out on a 2-way contract or in a few G League games until they get their spot. Kind of like how Jordan Poole was in the G League a little bit, and how like a lot of good players here recently, like Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, all good players that are like really good now, that all spend like a good chunk of their younger years in the G League getting better. And I feel like Imani Bates is probably one of those kind of guys that just has to grind a little bit more, a little bit harder.
Maybe I'm a little biased. When Imani was in high school, I was a big Imani Bates fan. You know,
I mean, if you go watch his overtime,
#1 ranked player in the country, and he was compared to Kevin Durant and stuff in high school. He was a bucket in school.
His overtime mixtapes are like up there with anybody.
Yes, Imani Bates was the man.
He actually kind of surprised me during the summer league because he had those struggles in, was it Memphis?
Yeah.
And then he transferred to
Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan, where he got to like put up as many shots as he wanted, but I don't think he did it very efficiently.
I think Eastern Michigan won like 2 or 3 games the whole season.
But during the summer league, he averaged 17.2 points per game on 43.9% field goal and 40% three-pointer percentage. What? Anyways, he was a bucket. He got buckets, and he's 6'9" with guard handles. Like he surprised me. Like I knew. Obviously, we've all seen the Imani Bates high school stuff. If you're good at high school basketball, you'll pop up on YouTube maybe 24 times before you ever go to college. Shout out Julian Newman for being on there 1,004 times and stayed 24 years in high school. But anyways, we all knew what Imani Bates could do, but it was just like
We're just waiting for it.
I didn't think he could do it at the next level based off of what happened in college. But he proved that he very well can. Now, another report that I saw recently was that Donovan Mitchell is probably not going to sign his extension. Does that worry you at all as a Cavaliers fan?
Yes, because when he came over here, bro, it was just a whole other team. It's a whole new team. Like when Donovan Mitchell came to the Cavs, you've seen the whole Cavs energy as a team and everything just switched. Like if you watch the Cavs, I'm a Cavs fan, so I'm biased by saying it's the most fun team to watch, in my opinion. Like you just see everyone rocks together. It's just like it's more than basketball. It's more than basketball. They just seem like they like love being with each other. They're like more than teammates, like friends, it's family. So, and you take Don out of that, and it's just gonna be like need that peace. But at the same time, you know, that gets Karras to step back, to step up, and then Darius can take over the team. I have a lot of faith in Darius Garland. I have a lot of faith in Darius Garland. I feel like Darius Garland could win an MVP in a couple years. I have a lot of faith in Darius
We've
Garland.
been playing 2K, huh?
He is a yes. Yeah, I hope 2K and the real world collide. But Darius is a bucket, man. He's a bucket. If I need someone to go get a bucket, I'm gonna give the ball to Darius and let him work.
I'm pretty sure when Donovan Mitchell was like on the trade block on the Jazz, I don't remember what teams he had listed, but I don't think the Cavs were one of them.
The Cavs came
I
out
believe
of
it was,
nowhere.
He wanted the Knicks. He's from New York.
Yeah.
He wants to play in New York. So if he doesn't sign his extension, what are the chances that you lose him to New York and get nothing back for Donovan Mitchell, who is probably the second best point guard in the league, shooting guard in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's definitely top 3. Like if not 1 or 2.
I don't think the Cavs would trade him unless he wanted to trade.
And that's the thing.
But
the
if
Cavs are tired of like people leaving and not getting stuff for it.
Yeah.
Like LeBron, he left and they didn't get anything in return. So I feel like if he made it known to them, hey, I'm not going to resign, your best bet is just trade me to where I want to go and you'll get pieces back out of it.
If he got traded
Hopefully.
to New York, I feel like the Cavs could get R.J. Barrett. I feel like they could get maybe Jalen Brunson.
I feel like
I mean, it won't be as good as Donovan Mitchell, but we could get something.
I feel like Jalen is like their guy right now. I feel like if they had like a list of untouchables, Jalen's like number 1 on that list. And then I feel like everyone else is like ready to be shipped off if you're New York.
I wouldn't mind a Julius Randle, but we already have too many power forwards and centers.
Julius is just he'll get you, your 20 and 10, 20 and 15, but his game does just not adapt to like postseason basketball at all.
I don't like Julius Randle's game at all.
Me neither.
I think it's just like most of his shots are just like that's a lucky bounce, and it's just like I don't know. I mean, like no knack to him as a scorer, but it's like I think where he's at right now is probably the best that he's gonna get. I hope that he proves me wrong. Obviously, I hope anybody I ever talk trash about proves me wrong because what's the point in talking trash if they're not gonna, make you change your mind?
Yeah.
Right.
But I hope that he does get better. But in terms of like right now, I think this is the best Julius Randle could possibly ever be. And again, a lot of his like decision making and shot taking is just not pretty at all. But it works. So there's that.
If we were to get 2 players, if I was the Cavs and I could pick 2 players back from Donovan Mitchell, I'd want R.J. Barrett and Mitchell Robinson.
I wouldn't want Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson off the bench, behind Jared Allen is another dude who can grab boards.
I don't think Mitchell Robinson's going to want to come off the bench.
Yeah,
he's starting in New York right now.
He started in New York for the past 5 years. Like
that's who I would want.
Yeah,
I know. I get that. That's like dream scenario.
I think you could get R.J. Barrett, but I don't think. I mean, you could probably get like Quinn Grimes, maybe. Quinn Grimes really good. But as
I
far
really
as
wish we could have got Cam Reddish. I really wish the Cavs would have signed Cam Reddish off the bench.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cam Reddish, that's the Duke. That's the Duke gimme.
So that's the Cavs wrap up.
Right. Moving on to the Celtics.
Before we talk about anything Boston-wise, well, it's about Boston. We got the Jaylen Brown Supermax. I feel like that's the first thing we got to discuss.
So the richest contract in NBA history.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I feel like down the line, it's going to be a very bad contract. But it's the move you have to make right now. And let me explain. If you don't make the move right now, then Jaylen Brown is going to try and force his way out. And whenever a player tries to force their way out of a spot, that makes their value drop down so much whenever you try and force a trade, and if you're Boston, you're not going to get anything up to his caliber back in return trade wise, right? And so it's either you lose him for nothing or you give him the richest contract in NBA history, and that's what they had to do. But I feel like their window is like 2 more years without getting a championship, and I feel like your window's shut. It's been open since 2018. That's 5 years ago, and what have you got to prove from that? One finals appearance,
Dunk on
5 million,
LeBron.
5 million Eastern Conference Finals appearances every year.
I mean, okay, so the Jaylen Brown contract, it is the richest deal in NBA history right now. But the way the salary caps are moving, we could probably have another one of those next year.
Yeah.
So as far as the contract he got, I'm not too worried about it because again, down the line, if he's not the Jaylen Brown that you expected, the salary cap will be so high up that he might be making undervalued pay during that time if you decide to trade him later. But as far as like right now, today, probably Jaylen Brown, does he deserve that contract? I don't know. He's really good.
Where you lose him.
I think he's a really good player. The only thing that I think he's lacking is ball handling with his left hand.
Yeah.
I know it's a meme, but like if you watched him play, it's a true thing. Like he loses the ball a lot, but outside of that, I think he's a really good player. And I don't hate the contract because again, like what was it, 5 years?
5 years.
304.
Okay, well 5 years. Let's say 3 years from now, Jaylen Brown's not what you wanted, or let's say he hasn't like improved at all, but he's still the same Jaylen Brown today, and you want to get rid of him. Again, 3 years from now, salary cap's probably going to be up. So it might not be like the best contract scenario ever, but I think you could get rid of him and still be comfortable. And so I just honestly, I don't hate the contract at all.
Only reason why I'm not the biggest fan of it is because if you don't win in that window, and they do have to end up trading you, you find yourself at like a situation where Chris Paul was whenever he had to get traded to OKC because his super max deal he had with Houston gave him like a 2-year window. He did not reach what they wanted to. They went to Game 7 against Golden State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
and they
team,
lost.
Chris Paul has stated many times that team was designed for the Warriors.
Yeah.
And no other team at all. And
And
they couldn't do it.
He signed one of the biggest deals at the time in NBA history with the Rockets, and he had his 2-year window, and it didn't work out, and he was forced to be traded just because his contract became bad and something that the Rockets going to handle. I feel like the same thing's going to happen with Boston if they don't win with the score they have right now with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the people they have around them, Porzingis, however healthy he can be. I feel like if within 1 or 2 years you're not in that window, it could end up being just a contract you have to dump off somewhere else.
I think Porzingis would be a good fit there.
I think Porzingis is going to be
Yeah,
nice.
I feel like Porzingis is definitely because whenever you watch those series against Miami, every time you can throw Time Lord on Bam or you can throw Al Horford on Bam, but whenever you do that, then you have your other forwards like Jimmy Butler stepping up, like having a big body like that.
7'3"
7'3", and he's like,
with a torch.
he has a torch, and dude will like give you 2 to 4 blocks a game. Like, I feel like that's one of the biggest things they've lacked against like I said, Miami is just having a consistent big guy. I feel like Robert Williams is like really good, but he's not consistent as you want him to be. And against the bigger teams in the East, like obviously Philadelphia, Joel Embiid, and then you have Giannis and Brook Lopez, like a twin tower situation going on in Milwaukee. You have to have some big size going against those guys, and that's just one of the things that Boston's kind of lacked. They've had the guard positions kind of like on lock, and it's been fine for the past few years. It's just they get
Once you get
eaten
the
away
paint.
in the paint.
Cavs, best defensive team in the league.
Anyways, the Celtics signed Delano Ben, really good pickup in my opinion. They got Jay Scrubb, J.D. Davison. They officially signed Jordan Walsh.
Yep.
O'Shea Brissett. Then we already talked about they traded for Porzingis and the Jalen Brown contract.
Shout out Jordan Walsh. He actually went to high school in Branson.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
He was on
really
Lake
like Jordan
Academy.
Walsh's game. No,
And when he was in school, they got second place. They
Yeah.
lost to Montverde.
I think he's
Link just won it
good
this
player.
past year.
Good player.
Link just won the Geico's this past year.
No, I think the Celtics definitely took a little bit of a step forward.
So do I.
J.D. Davidson was a surprising pickup. I mean, I watched J.D. Davidson in high school because he had some crazy dunks in school. I didn't think he was going to get drafted, picked up by the Celtics. I thought he was going to stay in the G League.
I know Miami has their thing where they're like, oh, we have really good late draft picks or undrafted players that play really well. I think Boston does too. There's a guy or two every season that Boston
J.D.
has.
got drafted.
that you just-
I believe it was y'all. J.D. got drafted to somebody, or it may have been Boston.
I'm just saying.
J.D. got drafted, but I don't
If
think he ever got picked
Boston
up.
has those late draft picks or undrafted type players
I'll
that
look that up.
one or two a year that can, like Peyton Pritchard. Where did he come from? And then he ended up being a really good, solid backup point guard for the first half of the season for him. And towards the last half of the season, he's not getting the PT because those games matter a lot more. But
Boston did draft J.D. Davidson. Okay. But I didn't think he was actually going to get a contract with him. But I like it. I like the pickup. O'Shea, he was good in Indiana.
I like O'Shea
He
Brissett
was-
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
He's also my Joker on 2K, so
That's
kind of biased.
a sneaky pickup for Boston. Be good off the bench. And Delano Ben.
Delano Ben.
I don't know who that is.
He's nice. Go check some clips.
Don't know
Delano
who
Ben
it
is
is.
pretty
And Jay
nice.
Scrub, don't know who he is either.
Jay Scrub, I've seen a couple videos of him, but I'm not. I don't know enough about him to be like, oh, he's really good or he's really bad. So that would also be somebody that I have to do some more research on. Moving on to the Hawks. The Hawks got Patty Mills. They extended DeJounte and Kobe Buffkin, their first round draft pick, put up 14 points per game on 33% field goal, 14% from three, and he had a 3.6 to 4.6 turnover ratio, which is horrible.
I like the Patty Mills pickup.
Patty Mills
got
fits
bounced
in
around
everywhere.
4 times this offseason, bro. He got traded.
But
waived,
I'm a
traded,
Patty
signed.
Mills fan. Patty Mills,
Patty Mills can
You know,
fit
he's-
in any team, I believe.
he's
Great
a
backup
vet. He's
point
a
guard.
vet. He's been here long enough. He can shoot the ball. He can shoot it well. So I mean, if you have off nights with Trey Young, I mean, you could throw Patty Mills in and trust
And
Patty Mills to run the
this
offense.
is not on here, but they lost John Collins
Yes.
They did.
for
Yes.
Yes.
for what was it? Not a lot
I
of
don't remember.
not a lot
But
of bad
it's
right.
about time John Collins got moved. It's been
But so if you think about
forever.
Hawks and Bulls and standings were like a few games away, and the Bulls kept their team, and the Hawks got Patty Mills and extended DeJounte, and they lost John Collins. On paper, they're a very top-heavy team, and they're like a 3 to 4 player deep team. Whereas there's other teams in the East that are last year that were in that same realm of games. Toronto, Chicago, Miami, and
I think
Atlanta that were all in those 4 play-in spots. I don't know that the Hawks are better today than they were after that season ended.
if healthy, you have to go come step up in
Alright.
that power forward spot.
I'm
You
pretty
still
sure-
got Clint Capella.
I don't think they're not running Big O at power forward. No disrespect to Oscar Robinson. They're not running Onyeka at power forward. I think
Yeah.
they're just going to stick to Sadiq Bey, which is
I forgot
really
that
good.
Sadiq Bey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
I
good.
forgot that Sadiq
He
Bey.
is good, but I don't feel like Atlanta got better. I feel like Patty Mills he's solid for sure, but
Extending DeJounte was a good move.
I really-
because I'm a big DeJounte fan.
I love DeJounte, but
I don't
just
like that fit.
I don't feel like DeJounte and Trae Young in the long run that backcourt is not going to work out.
Yeah, I don't like that fit.
I've been a DeJounte fan since San Antonio. So
I probably
I'm
name
kinda
like
biased.
5 more backcourts that are better
I
than
think-
those two.
I love DeJounte's game too. I just don't think him and Trae Young fit. On paper, it sounds nice. You got Trae Young, the offensive bucket getter. Then you have DeJounte
DeJounte.
Murray, who can do a little bit of
He
everything.
can play make and
So
be
it
great
sounds
defense.
really good together, but it's just not working.
Not
And it
at
didn't
all.
work last year.
So where would
Hopefully
you,
it works
where would
this
you
year.
put, Where would you put DeJounte if you could move him? Where would you put him? Where do you think his best fit would be?
I really don't know.
It's gonna
off the
sound
top of my head,
stupid,
The
but-
Spurs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. San Antonio. I know that sounds fucking dumb, but San Antonio will probably be dope for him. But they, Quinn. They're getting like a full season of Quinn Snyder. They got rid of Nate McMillan like halfway into the year.
Yep.
Obviously, there was the beef with him and Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
Trae Young wasn't being able to be the player he wanted, and now you got a really good coach that kind of made Donovan Mitchell into the player he was. Whenever he was coaching him in Utah. So I feel like that is one of the things that might make Atlanta, have a better edge this year is having a way better coach. But in terms of like how the roster got better, I don't see that it took too much of a leap.
Yeah, that makes sense. AJ Griffin during the summer league, he looked not very good.
Oh. I'm a big AJ Griffin.
AJ Griffin,
it's the Duke in me,
but
bro.
it's the summer league.
I'm biased.
Summer
when it
league
comes
is
to
just
the
so-
Duke players.
Summer league, you could do really good in summer league, and then the NBA season comes around and you could suck ass.
Like Brandon Clark
Or
was the GOAT in
opposite.
summer league, and now he's just kind of that mid-level guy from Memphis. But
I'm biased to all the Duke players in the league.
As far as the Hawks' first round draft pick, Kobe Buffkin, I was actually pretty excited that they got him. I thought Kobe Buffkin was pretty decent, but he struggled very bad. Hopefully he changes that around
He's got
for the
time.
Hawks' sake.
You had people like Victor, who had a terrible first game and then bounced back.
Yeah, but he had a terrible whole summer league,
fun
not
fact,
just one game.
fun fact, there was 3 people named Kobe in the summer league playing.
One of them was from Mizzou.
It just-
Kobe Brown.
Kobe
Kobe
Bryant,
Bryant.
yeah.
It just shows you like the kind of impact that name had. It's like people that are like close to our age, obviously. Like whenever,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind naming my kid Kobe.
that name got very big. Like think about it, there were 20 years ago was 03. Kobe was just fresh off a three-peat. Obviously that name got big, and so it's cool to see that kind of like translate over. Now you got 3 players in the summer league with the name Kobe.
You gonna have a kid named LeBron? Dang.
A white LeBron Walton. I don't know.
I'm gonna name my
Ron
kid
Walton kind of
Wembanyama
goes off,
Smith.
kind of rolls, man. I
We'll
was gonna
see.
do
We'll
like-
see. Stay tuned.
All right. Okay. Moving on, we got the Heat. This guy is also a Heat fan.
I'm a Jimmy Butler fan.
Okay, whatever. They re-signed Kevin Love and Orlando Robinson.
You
They
can't ban my team
signed.
that's in the fucking play wall though.
They signed Thomas Bryant and Josh Richardson. Jaime Jaquez Jr. looked really good, but he got injured. I believe it was his shoulder. So I also believe Jaime Jaquez just like the perfect fit as far as rookies. I think he fits the Heat culture pretty damn good.
It's just so crazy how they kind of just draft these people that fucking fit their system like a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Love is the kind of vet they need. Obviously, every time he's been in the playoffs, he's made the finals. Dude's like undefeated in the playoffs until he gets to the finals. Obviously,
He got a ring with us.
he's got a ring.
He got a ring with us.
Thomas Bryant just got a ring against Miami, and now he's in
I got like
Miami.
4 against you.
Now he's in Miami. I feel like Thomas Bryant's a really good backup.
Josh Richardson's been there,
Josh
so he
Richardson-
already knows the system a little bit, and he's also a really good player.
He is really good. I feel like I honestly think he's just as good as Max Strus is. So I feel like losing Max Strus and then getting Josh Richardson
yeah.
is not too big of a thing. But then you lost Gabe Vincent too. You didn't lose just Max Strus. You lost
But hey,
those two.
But they balled
might
out
be
in the
getting
playoffs.
Dame, so you know.
They balled
And-
out in the playoffs for the contracts they got now. So
They really did. I feel like
They
both
earned
deserve it. Yeah.
they earned it.
But I feel like Miami didn't. I feel like Miami is still like the team to beat just because they're the reigning Eastern Conference champions. Even though their roster obviously has not been like better than any other roster in the East. Out of the 3 out of the past 4 years they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it just proves that your roster doesn't really make the team. It's just how hard you are in the playoffs. And I feel like Miami is one of the Miami is probably the best coached team in the league. I feel like Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA besides Popovich.
No Steve Kerr love.
I feel like Steve Kerr was
Coach
born into
No Coach JB love.
Steve Kerr. Man.
Steve Kerr
We'll
was
talk about
born
him next
into
episode.
a perfect situation.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about him next.
JB signed my basketball and I fumbled the Sharpie, so
And he said,
episode. Unbelievable.
he said, "You got it." Shout out Coach JB, man.
All right. That's basically it for the Heat. Moving on, we got the Hornets. Miles Bridges is back.
I think he has like 8 more games on his suspension or something like that. He has a few more games.
He's back.
But he's back. He got a
Airbnb will be back.
Dude
I
has
need
been
an
dropping.
album. I need an album by the end of the season.
Bro, he's been dropping music like crazy this whole past year. He's
Bro,
been
What
out.
else was
Miles
he supposed to do?
Miles Bridges.
Beat his wife again, I guess.
Oh my
Whoa,
God.
whoa.
My bad.
All right. Okay. Sheesh. Nick Smith Jr.
Goat.
15 points per game, 4 rebounds, 41% field goal. His whole summer league was like inflated by one really good game. I think he had like, I really don't remember the numbers, but it was like he had one really good game and then the other ones he had like not so good, but he has 15 points per game because of that one good performance. But I think the talent and the potential is there. It's just got to click, and I really like that for the Hornets. Their other pick was Amari Bailey. He averaged 8 points per game. That's really all I gotta say about him. Didn't really do anything else.
You gotta show love on my Bailey.
Then Brandon Miller, second round draft pick that doesn't know anything about the NBA, averaged 17.3 points per game, 8.3 rebounds on 35% field goal and 26% three. He struggled, but I'm not really worried about it because
I think the
I think
3-point
he'll fit.
percentage is just kind of whenever you're a big
it's
body
just-
like that.
yeah, coming into the
But
NBA.
definitely the
if he
field goal
was to-
percentage is kind of worrisome because if you are, a big body forward, then your field goal percentage is obviously a little bit. It's supposed to be a lot higher than 35%.
Summer League, I mean, he was kind of the man in the Summer League. I don't know who
Again,
else.
Summer
I
League
don't know
is-
who else was running the squad in the Summer League, but now when the season rolls around, you'll have LaMelo there.
Yeah,
Miles
LaMelo.
will be coming back eventually, so he's not going to be the main scorer. And so when you take him out of that, maybe put him in the third, fourth slot when it comes to scoring,
Yeah.
he should. I feel like he'll be.
Yeah, I
decent.
think he'll be fine.
And
That's
they
why I
re-signed
don't worry
LaMelo
about
to that max contract too.
You
So
got
he got his extension.
You got Victor in San Antonio, but even though as a second round pick, I think, or second overall pick, sorry, Brandon Miller might be dark horse for rookie of the year.
I think so too, but I don't feel like he should have been second pick. That's just me. I feel like Scoot's gonna have higher potential, maybe.
But this is a better fit.
Yeah,
for
I
agree with that.
Talent wise, I believe
I think
Scoot should have
Scoot
went
would have been
over.
second.
But I feel like picking for fit versus picking for a better player is kind of bites your team in the ass. Like if you're Golden State and you miss out on LaMelo because you want James Wiseman, it's
Shout out
just
James Wiseman. That's the homie.
Oh
Shout
yeah,
out James Wiseman.
not my homie.
if you're in the draft, you can't pick for fit. You got to pick for
Shout out James,
the best
my
player.
guy.
Because if you pick for the best player, then you can leverage that into something that fits you.
Yep. As far as the picks wise, Vic had a really good quote. It was in French, so I don't know if it translates to exactly this, but he was asked about like Scoot Henderson, what he thought about it as a player, and if I remember correctly, it was like he said something like, "Yeah, he'd be the number 1 overall pick if I wasn't born," or something like that, which I think is just
It's
one
hard.
of the hardest quotes of all time.
I feel like Scoot's got that.
I think Scoot's
potential.
going to be really
And
freaking good.
especially if Dame leaves and it's him and Shaden Sharp, is that his name?
Shady Sharp and Simons.
And Simons,
I
bro.
would probably move.
That's dangerous.
I think I would move Simon. If I'm moving Dame, I think I'd want to move. We could talk about that next episode, though.
Yeah, I gotcha.
The Hornets, that's pretty much it. I don't think they're going to
I'd give them like a B minus.
Yeah, I don't think they're really going to do
C+.
anything crazy as far as the season goes.
But I do like the moves they made.
The
And I
moves,
feel
yeah.
like signing LaMelo, even though he has those injury prones, give him an extension is kind of just. I mean, you got to. It's Charlotte, North Carolina. No one wants to stay there.
J. Cole might suit up.
Not even Michael Jordan.
No, Mike is out.
J. Cole's partial owner now. You might see Jermaine Cole in the 3, maybe. I don't know. He already talked about it in the song. But that's about it for the Hornets. Nothing really interesting. The Knicks, they had like 2 moves that I can remember off the top of my head, and it was they signed Dante DiVincenzo. I wish he didn't leave. It's whatever. They got a really good Dante DiVincenzo is like heart, and like that whole Villanova squad, they got it, and
Almost.
they're really, really good.
McCall is so close. He's in Brooklyn, bro. They almost got the whole squad.
But they all have like the same like heart. They got that dog in them. The other pickup was Isaiah Roby. I like Isaiah Roby as well,
Good role player.
but
I feel like both picks are really solid.
yeah.
Shout out to our team that was already.
It gives
what
the
they
Knicks
went,
more shooting than Dante.
what they went 6 against Miami, 5 or 6.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
But the Knicks obviously got better. They didn't get worse this offseason.
I should have put my Cavs out.
Yeah, but Dante DiVincenzo, a really good pickup. Um, that's about it for the Knicks, though. Besides everything we talked about when it wasn't on the Knicks, the Magic are next. They re-signed Admiral Schofield, one of the coolest names I think I've ever heard.
Dope.
Mo Wagner, and they signed Janglin' Joe Ingles. You know that one?
Yes, I know that one.
All right.
That's a hard
Janglin'
name.
Joe.
That's a tough name. No, that's a tough name.
Yeah, for real.
Over B-Ball Paul.
Yes,
Jingling
Jingling Joe
Joe.
Ingles over B-Ball Paul. That is, yes.
Their rookie Jed Howard, he averaged 13 points per game. Over half of his attempts were beyond the three-point line, and he shot 40% from there. And the Magic needed shooting, so I think that was a really good draft pick. Some people during the draft were like, was that a good
I
pick?
was just about to ask if you thought Jet Howard
They thought it
was
was.
a good pick.
They were asking, was it a good pick? The Magic showed like that's our guy. We're gonna go get him. That's what they did, and hopefully he stays shooting that well during the season because that's what the Magic needed was shooting.
This is gonna sound crazy, but I feel like the Magic with the team they have now, some of the moves they made, and then Franz Wagner taking a leap, Paulo obviously having the year he had. I feel like on paper, like top to bottom, they might have just as good a team as like Atlanta does, or maybe even better, depending on if Paulo takes another second year leap. Then Franz Wagner, I feel like dude
Franz
is
is so underrated.
like if you're not on his bandwagon, get on it now because I feel like in a few years he's gonna be
If
like
he
that kind
wasn't-
of guy.
If he wasn't on the Magic, he would have so many more like fans.
Yeah.
You know who I think, like what you said about Franz? I think the same thing, but about Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony's been putting in the work.
Besides that,
I've seen him.
stupid-ass
So I
dunk
feel like-
contest. Shit was bogus.
It was, bro. Orlando on the come up. Orlando playing team.
Yes.
They also their other draft pick, first round draft pick, was Anthony Black. He's really good. He's tall, facilitator. 11 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, on 41% field goal, 17% from three. But like when he was at Arkansas, they didn't really have much floor spacing, anyways. So I think it's gonna have to grow over time. But
But he led that Arkansas team.
I think he's a
They
good
did
fit.
good.
And again, good playmaker, solid defense. But the Magic, I really like the Magic. I like their draft picks. I like their offseason moves.
And
I
there's
think
not
they're
been a
pretty good.
time the whole past 10 years I've been watching basketball. I can say I've liked the offseason by the Magic.
Yeah. And really, they only signed 3 players. One of them is Joe Ingles, who's probably not even gonna see the floor very much. But like, that's a good vet.
Yeah.
They don't really have
Good locker room guy. For
Yeah,
sure.
they don't really have. Off the top of my head, I can't name a vet that's been in the league for more than 5 years that's on the Magic.
And I feel like if they made the playoffs, it'd be kind of like one of those cat situations where they end up losing first round just because they don't have the
But like the
Yeah.
talent and stuff will be there.
talent's there for
They
sure.
just dumped Bobo, didn't they?
yeah, they dumped Bobo.
Bobo's on the Suns.
But
Yeah,
it's
you
because
said
Wendell
so.
Carter's been playing like really good for him, bro. Like
Wendell Carter's
honestly,
I love
Wendell
Wendell
Carter
Carter.
is better than Bobo. It's hard that he had to leave Chicago, but I feel like
Chicago should have Wendell Carter and Franz Wagner right now, but they don't.
if they would have Lonzo Ball, they are definitely in a better position. But I feel like that Lonzo, I won't get off on a rabbit trail, but I feel like they were the number 1 team in the East before he got hurt.
Lonzo, really good. Get well soon, Lonzo. Moving on to the Nets. The Nets signed Darius Baisley, Lonnie Walker, Dennis Smith Jr. They re-signed Cam, and their rookie, Noah Clowney, struggled very badly. 4.8 points per game on 23% shooting, and he's a big man. So,
Something about Dennis Smith Jr. game I like.
everybody likes Dennis Smith Jr.
Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah.
is a bucket.
You can't hate on him, bro.
You can't. Lonnie Walker is a bucket.
I like the Lonnie Walker pickup a lot.
I think all three players that signed Darius Bailey, Lonnie, and Dennis.
If I had to
all
pick,
three good pickups.
5 teams that were like the most fun to watch, Brooklyn's up there. The Nets are just
I like-
like even if they're not winning games, they're just going to be
It
like
reminds me
super
of
fun
the-
to watch.
Reminds me of the D-Lo Nets team. That was one of my
Yes,
favorite
bro.
teams to watch.
They just like even if they were
It's
like
just
what
fun.
the 8th seed that year, D'Lo was.
Yeah.
They're just going to play really fun basketball, and they're going to. Mikal Bridges is going to ball out. Cam Johnson's going to develop a lot more, where he has a bigger role than he ever would have in Phoenix. So I feel
I
like
still have Clax.
Clax, bro.
Nicholas Claxton
Clax
is really
is
nice.
so fire.
Um,
They didn't really do too much though.
no, the
But,
Darius
but what
Baisley
they
pickup's
did do
cool.
was
solid. Yeah, they just added more scoring. I feel like.
Yeah.
But
that's about it.
Yeah.
Pacers. I think as I've been looking at this list. We were going to talk about who had the best offseason so far. My pick would probably be the Pacers. I really like the Pacers offseason. They got Obi Toppin, him and Tyrese Halliburton. They love to play fast. Obi Toppin's a lob threat. He can shoot in the corner. I think Obi Toppin's a really good pickup for Tyrese, and Tyrese is really good. I know he plays for the Pacers, but if you haven't checked out Tyrese Halliburton, which would be crazy if you haven't, but if you haven't, go watch his highlights like right after this.
Dude, speaking of Tyrese, that extension he got,
really nice.
He needed it,
Deserved
dude.
it.
He most definitely deserved it.
I
Tyrese
feel
is
like
one of my favorite players in the league.
Indiana needs to stop fumbling people they got, man. Like they fumbled PG, they fumbled Vic, they fumbled Sabonis. No, not really, but
They
put fumbled
Sabonis.
his time there.
They
Like,
put
I should say,
Sabonis in a
but
better
they
position.
got something way better in return with I feel like a higher upside for the team they have now. I feel like if they had the team they had right now, but they had Sabonis instead of Tyrese.
But they fumbled Sabonis for Tyrese.
No, they fumbled the time he was there. Like I feel like
they traded.
They were so
Tyrese.
mid the time he was there, and I feel like
He was really just Sabonis and Miles Turner. But then the argument was like, well, you need to keep one of them and get rid of the other one. So it was never like a good fit.
yeah.
Signed Bruce Brown after Bruce Brown said he wasn't going, or after Mike Malone said Bruce Brown wasn't going to leave.
Hey, Bruce Brown got that bag.
Bruce Brown
He
got
really
a bag.
did
deserve
They got
it,
a
too.
ring and a bag.
That's all.
You
I
can't
mean,
even be
he's set.
mad at
It's
that.
just it's this trend every year. You get like the sixth guy on your team of a championship team is going to go chase it back somewhere else. Like year before, it was Gary
Otto
Payton.
Porter.
Whenever Gary Payton won,
Didn't
and then
chase
the
it
next
back,
year he
he
goes
was
to
gone.
Portland. It's like just a trend every year. You get a ring, you get a bigger contract, and you're out of the.
Now he's back.
Yes.
Gary's back home, baby. They also dumped Chris Duarte, who Chris Duarte's cool, but I didn't really like him on the Pacers.
He did shit for me in fantasy basketball.
Yeah.
Fuck Chris Duarte.
Their draft picks, Ben Shepherd, he got 10.6 points per game.
Tell him I said that. You tell him I said that.
I don't know Chris Duarte,
He
and I
fumbled-
probably wouldn't tell
he
him that.
fumbled my fantasy.
Anyways, he did that on 42% field goal and 39% from three. Their other pickup, Jarris Walker, 14.3 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game on 34% field goal and 18% from the three. I'm not really worried about Jarris either. He showed that he's very confident and he's good on defense. So I think just give him some time and he'll fit in pretty well with the Pacers.
And I really feel like Rick Carlisle is the kind of coach that just to make that team work.
I really like the Pacers team.
Yeah.
Like I think they're gonna be pretty. I think they're gonna be good. Tyrese Halliburton, dog.
Probably the second
Miles
best team in
Turner,
the division behind
dog.
Cavaliers.
Benedict Mathurin, dog.
Yeah.
The whole team, dogs.
Like if I had to rank that division, it'd probably be Cavs, Pacers. Whoa. Bucks, Cavs, Pacers, Bulls, Pistons. Forgot the Bucks were in there for a second, man. I was
Well,
tripping.
Let's go ahead and mosey down to the Pistons. I think Pistons are a top 3 team to watch this year.
I feel like
I
they're
think the Pistons are going to be really fun to watch. The summer league they were fun to watch. Asar,
Love that pickup.
Asar was a good pickup.
dude
Thompson
can
twins,
jump,
Yes.
bro.
Asar, and Cade Cunningham will be back.
Just another one of those fun teams that I don't feel like is going to win a lot of games, but they had the potential to.
I feel like they just got somebody else too. I feel like Detroit just got somebody else that I'm missing.
They got your boy James.
James
They
Wiseman.
did get James. That's not much. Shout out James.
They have
They
basically just like a big man farm in
Yeah.
Detroit. They got like half their rosters centers or power forwards.
don't piss off Isaiah Stewart.
Why would I do that?
Come through the screen, punch.
I don't think my goal would ever to be to piss off somebody that's over 6'5". Shout out
did it.
Gabe.
Except for 6'4".
If you're 6'4", I want all the smoke. Yeah. Anyways, Asar Thompson, he was really impressive. He had 13.5 points per game, 10 rebounds per game on 46% from field goal and 27% from three. But neither of the Thompson twins have been known to be really good shooters. I think they will develop it. He has a good shot mechanic. It just needs to fall. but he also got to show off his playmaking ability because his brother was more of the point guard. He was more of a shooting guard. So we got to see some of his playmaking ability during the summer league.
I just remember who I forgot. Jaden Ivey.
They didn't just.
No, I know they didn't just get him, but like who they had.
I thought you
like
meant, like, they
Cade,
signed somebody.
Jaden Ivey. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody.
Bogdanovich.
Bogdanovich, that's goat.
That's it.
But they're just
Another
They-
like super fun team.
yeah, they're super young.
super young.
I don't know. I'm biased with the super young teams. I feel like they're all gonna be fun to watch, like the Kings, Pistons, Rockets, Cavs.
Warriors.
I said young.
Hey man, Steph Curry still plays like he's 25.
Until he hurts his hand or hurts
Hey,
his
calm
ankle
down,
or hurts
calm
his
down.
knee
We don't want that bad mojo. Anyways, that's about it for that.
Draymond Green
Oh,
punching someone in the face.
well, okay.
or-
I think Chris Paul has a stronger
Signed-
jaw than Jordan Poole.
They signed a 100-year-old Chris Paul.
Hey, we got we can talk about that next episode, man. We got some stuff to talk about.
B-ball, Chris Paul.
B-ball Chris Paul. Marcus Sasser averaged 15.6 points per game on 44% field goal. He started off really slow, but the last game that they played, he had 40 points.
And
Buckets.
didn't win the Summer League trophy. The Cavs did.
All right, the Raptors. The Raptors signed Dennis Schroeder, Jalen McDaniels. They re-signed Jakob Poeltl, and Grady Dick. 16 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 40% field goal, and he was really good at shot creating. I think
He was good in Kansas.
Kansas.
Kansas. He was good at
I'm
Kansas.
finna get a jersey.
what's his I forgot what his number is. What's his number?
6.
6 dicks. 6 dick.
Oh my god.
Dick
dude.
6.
Did they replace
Dick
Nick Nurse?
Six, bro.
Dick
Fire.
Six.
Did they replace? Did they replace
New
Nick Nurse?
nickname, Dick 6.
Did they replace Nick Nurse?
They
I
did.
forgot who it is.
It's someone
Figure it
I
out.
know, bro. It's someone.
As far as like the pickups, Jalen McDaniels,
Oh, one. My fault. Number 1.
one Dick. Dick 1.
Who's the coach?
Oh.
'Cause I think like it's right there. I know who it is, but I just
He pulls up Nick Nurse.
Okay, well while he's doing that,
Darko.
Oh, yeah, he was one of the-
Jakovic.
he was one of the
Rajanovich.
assistants.
Jakobanovich, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't know. They all sound the same.
He's alright.
Don't
Okay. Anyways, Dennis Schroeder
Early
is
Europe.
Dennis Schroeder. He fumbled hella bags.
That's all he's done ever since
Bag fumbler.
Ever since he left Atlanta back in like 2015, he's just been.
He
fumbling
fixed his
bags.
hair. He fumbled bags.
Jalen McDaniels.
Jalen
That's a good
McDaniels.
pickup.
Yeah.
I always get Jalen and Jaden confused. I don't remember which one is which.
Jalen.
What do you mean?
Jalen was in Charlotte.
No, I just don't remember which. Like one of them's really good defensively, or
One of
both
them-
of them.
Jaden's in Minnesota.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, Jaden is in Minnesota.
Sorry, I'm not
Jaden's
familiar
the
with your game.
Tall, lanky fucker in Minnesota.
I also back in the day I used to get Darius Garland and who's the big? He's at the Wizards. He was at the Wizards. His initials are also DG.
Oh, Daniel Gafford.
Daniel Gafford. I used to get them confused all the time, and they're not even similar at all. I don't know why.
Darius Garland.
I just
is
the
above.
name.
Daniel Gafford was a goat in Chicago.
Okay, last team, the Wizards. They got Jordan Poole.
They picked up Draymond Green's bitch.
Okay.
So I saw this TikTok
Wow.
that said the sixth man on a championship or a championship team that like whether they win or not gets traded to a very young team and balls the fuck out. Same thing had that with James Harden a few years ago. He went to the finals with the Thunder as a sixth man. Obviously they didn't win against LeBron, but then he gets traded to a very young team and he balls the fuck out. I feel like this is kind of like a Jordan situation. I feel like he's going to thrive offensively. He's going to become the player that obviously everyone thinks he can be after he got that extension and after the season he put up, not last year obviously, but the year before that. As a sixth man, I feel like him and Kuzma are going to like just throw up as many shots as possible, get a lot of points,
Who's
but
taking
they're just
Bradley?
not going to win.
Who's gonna take Bradley Beal's spot? 'Cause they're probably gonna put Poole at the point.
Yeah, but they're just going to give Poole
I'll
all
take
Bradley
Bruce.
Beal's shots.
Corey Kispert.
They don't have a great team, but I feel like it's just going to be him proving that offensively he's one of the best people in his position, probably.
And whoever I can't pronounce the rookie's last name.
Bilal Koulibaly.
I know he played with. I know he played with Vic over in France.
Yeah. He averaged 12.3 on 40% field goal, 18% from three. He also had 2.3 blocks at the wing position. The last person I know to get that many blocks at the wing position
Was me.
was Dwayne Wade. Anyways, he's very confident, and he was not on the radar at all until he started playing with Vic, and so to see him even go in the first round is pretty cool.
Because most people like that would usually fall just like around or even undrafted.
Right. I have a lot to say about Jordan Poole, so I'm gonna do that. Jordan Poole, I'll always love you as a player, man. For the team,
Don't cry.
love Jordan Poole, man.
Don't cry.
He was good. But I really want Jordan Poole to succeed more than anything else. He's already got the ring. He's got the bag. I need him to succeed. He's very good offensively. He's got the offensive bag. He's got one of the greatest offensive bags, in my opinion, as far as looks and wow, that's a nice move.
And he's done that all off 10 to 12 shots a game, and now he's going to be getting all the shots that Bradley Beal used to get, 15 to 20.
The only thing I want to see improve from Jordan Poole is the turnover to assist ratio. He averages so many turnovers. It's crazy. That's really, other than defense, I'd say that's his biggest flaw in his game. But again, he's going to be on the Wizards. They have nobody. They have Kyle Kuzma. Can't wait to watch him and Kyle Kuzma hit 5-game winners this season and be good. The Wizards are in a rebuilding, they're starting a rebuild. So I can't tell you how many times I'm going to watch a Wizards game. Probably not at all, unless it's Wizards versus Warriors, because I want to see if Jordan Poole gets his get back. But other than that, I'm probably not going to tune into a bunch of Wizards stuff. I'd probably say that and in my opinion, that they probably had the worst off season, or everything that's happened so far. To me, not because of their rookie. I think I like their rookie a lot. I like Jordan Poole a lot.
They lost
but they
Bradley
just
Beal,
haven't.
Porzingis.
They haven't yet. I mean, it's the beginning of a rebuild, so they're not going to be good, which I know is the goal. But it's also they didn't really get any other young pieces other than Jordan Poole and their rookie.
They kind of just put their plans out there. This is obviously we're not going to win right now.
They're pulling the Spurs.
I would much rather them tank than to keep trying to be mediocre with Bradley Beal and Kristaps Porzingis.
Because they've been mediocre for the past
ever
20 years.
Forever.
But if they draft Bronny.
If Bronny's okay.
If LeBron, yeah,
Bronny just had
get well
literal
soon,
heart
Bronny.
attack.
If Bronny can play basketball,
But
Go
I
out
bet
with
that
Bronny.
if he could, yeah.
I hope he can. Prayers to Bronny.
Prayer to Bronny.
Prayers to Bronny. Do we have anything we want to talk about?
So definitely one of the best off seasons is your Pacers. They made some really good moves.
I like the Pacers a lot.
Now that I see it, in here, what all they did.
Magic.
I can't tell you. I
Magic.
pay attention to every team.
So
I'd say Pacers and Magic are my top two.
yeah,
For sure.
my top two. Bottom two probably gotta be the Wizards.
I know one is the Wizards because they're
And
not
then-
doing anything.
I can't get over the fact that the Hawks just did nothing that made their team better. I feel like in terms of getting a few more games, it just all comes out to if they end up gelling better as a unit. But there's still some stuff before the season starts, and then some stuff whenever the season does start. And rosters aren't finalized at all, so.
Okay.
I'd probably have to agree.
I just looked up the John Collins trade. They got Rudy Gobert. What the heck?
Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay. I just combined Gobert and Gay.
Go big.
Anyways, and a future second round pick. But Rudy Gay is not on the Hawks. He got traded for Patty Mills.
and then he
He's
got
on
waived.
the OKC
Yeah,
Thunder,
they waived
and the
and
Thunder
they
just
waived
waived him.
Pick him up, Cleveland.
Just a
Pick
little
'em up,
insight.
Pick him up, Cleveland.
A little insight
I want a big
into
wing.
the
Pick 'em up,
next
Cleveland.
the next episode. The Thunder currently have 22 players on their roster spot. That means that they are 7 players over. So there's 7 decent players that are on the Thunder squad that are getting cut. So we need to watch out for
which
that.
is one of the biggest problems with the Thunder. You can get as many draft picks as you want, but sooner or later you're going to have to get rid of some of that young talent. And if you get rid of the wrong talent,
It bites you,
right in the rear, the butt,
right in the cheeks, Waldo.
right in the cheek.
Don't want me to say that.
Jeez
Don't
Louise.
want me to say that.
Anything else? You got a concert, don't you?
Yes.
There's going to be people around here that watch
Saturday,
this.
man. Saturday, man. Popping out at the Copper Steel Lounge. Former St. Lunatic Murphy Lee and your boy. I'm opening up for him. So y'all pop out and turn up with us.
Is it former?
They're not like a group no more.
Are they not? Or do they just not perform
They're
anymore?
not a group no more.
I got you.
But former St. Lunatic, man, Murphy Lee. First show of mine.
I saw Nelly at the Cardinals game last week.
Hey, that'd be cool.
But yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I really have anything to talk about until next episode.
We are starting a new segment, new series called Rush Racket. It's just going to be like a week-to-week update on all things NFL. So just be looking forward to a little intro episode about that. Just not too much, like 2 to 5 minutes long. Just me introducing what we're doing there. And it's just going to be like a series we do during football season. We're not going to be too in-depth on like off-season stuff during football. We'll focus more on like off-season stuff in basketball, but it'll be like a 20-week long series that I'll be doing, that these guys will join me every so often on. But just look forward to one of those episodes coming out soon.
Yep. We just started a fantasy football league. I can't tell you the last time I actually watched fantasy football. Why are you guys laughing? Did I make bad drafts?
Jacob ruined mine. Tom Brady was available to be picked. I was going to pick him for the memes. But I told Jacob my plans and he foiled them.
Guess who's got the GOAT?
But I drafted Ezekiel Elliott my last one for the memes.
Yeah,
and hopefully Zeke gets picked up because he is cold.
Last time I watched football, watch was the Daniel Tomlinson, which was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I did this in hopes of trying to get me back into football. The Rush Racket thing will help. I'm going to probably be asking questions during that time just to try to reintroduce myself to the game. But that's about it. I mean, I would love to cover baseball and hockey, but I just...
Takes a long time to go watch all that. I feel like football's pretty easy because there's like 2 days a week that I can dedicate. It's not every day. Like baseball is every day of the week.
Yeah.
You gotta sit down and watch it.
There's
like
Shohei
Shohei Ohtani.
200-300 games in a season.
I think
It's
it's
like
162
180 or
or
160.
Well, where the fuck was I going with 200 to 300 games a season?
It's like
Basically,
doubling up.
with
Wow,
playoffs,
it's
probably.
tripping.
Yeah,
Wow,
probably right about 200 with playoffs.
Yeah.
Like close, but still, football is very easy to cover. They only play like
16 games, right?
Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And it's only
Yeah.
17 games in the season.
Yeah.
And it's only like the course of 20 weeks. So I feel like it's pretty easy to digest. You can't watch every game, obviously, but you can watch Sunday Night Football, like the marquee games and stuff like that. So I'll be doing the updates on that, and then these guys, like I said, will be joining me every so often, asking questions, talking about their teams, about big games. Definitely closer to like postseason time, talking about like the Super Bowl, because that's the biggest sports game in the world, probably. I'm not
You
top
said
world.
world.
You said world.
My bad,
said
my bad, my
world.
bad. That's
That
not
guy
like
just got off.
that's not
What's
like
his name? Mbappe?
a global
Mbappe,
tournament.
yeah.
I'm like not a global tournament. I feel like the World Cup, obviously, World Cup final is bigger than the Super Bowl.
I think,
But that's like a
WrestleMania's
world.
got it.
That's
I
like
think WWE WrestleMania's
a
got it.
world
Hey,
tournament.
That's fine.
If you
In
guys
terms
want
of like
Russell-
private league championships, I feel like Super Bowl's got it.
we can talk about some WWE now. It pops up on my For You page on TikTok sometimes.
Dude, you're not
I
lying.
stopped watching it.
Dude,
after-
you're
I
not
did. I stopped watching it, but some of the stuff's kind of intriguing.
Dude, I've been getting back into it like the past 2 months.
I've been watching the old
I follow
promos,
them
bro.
on
I'm like,
the Bloodline thing, the story they got going on right now is pretty sick. Like I think it's one of the best stories.
It just got so weird for a few years. Whenever I was in like middle school and high school, I was like, I hate this stuff.
It's still like I'm not like I love the WWE, but it is entertainment at the end.
I'm not
of the
gonna
day.
fold. Whenever I was like 7 or 8, like I had the John Cena shirt,
Oh,
I had the
dude.
Undertaker.
I got
Pillows
John
stand no
Cena
chance.
autographs at my mom's house right now.
Like me and my brother were doing like all the fight moves against each other. Like he pedigreed me like 500 times.
Bro, I had the wrestling ring with
My
all the
pillows were
wrestlers.
mad,
Yes,
bro.
bro. I had like 20 wrestlers, bro. I had Undertaker.
I've seen
I had-
almost every big wrestler from like the early 2000s.
I
like,
can't tell you how many times.
Mid to late 2000s you could think of. I've seen Cena, I've seen Triple H, Undertaker.
I've
seen
Batista
them, bro.
bombed the fuck out of some pillows. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
dog.
Those pillows stood no chance. But
Yeah, man.
this is a long episode.
Yeah.
So I think we're just gonna end it right here. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button and subscribe. We also are on Spotify now.
Yep.
Is
Tap
it
in on
just at Rim
Spotify.
Racket?
Yeah, at Rim Racket. Spotify.com/Rim Racket if you're gonna do it online.
You'll click the link in the bio, man.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we're gonna drop-
Link in the bio, man.
Drop all the links in the description on our YouTube video.
Yeah. Link it in the comments, man. Leave any ideas that y'all think we should talk about.
If you want
Get
us to
your
do like
opinions
NBA
out.
trivia, stuff like that, just hit us in the comments about stuff you want to see, and we'll get to it.
All right, and then next episode we'll be covering the West. So we'll see you then. Peace out.
Easy.
Peace.